Today's session will be on conditional statements or if statements. So why these conditional statements are used? First we'll learn that. The conditional statements are actually used to get the results based on some conditions. Say I have a condition. So based on that condition, I want to get the results. That is based on true or false. If the condition is true, then there will be a true block where I'll get the results from the true block. Or if it is false, then I should get the results from the false block. There are situations that there will be some multiple conditions to be checked, and we can apply multiple conditions and we get the results from those true blocks itself. And this if conditions is very simple actually. I'll show you how to work on this practically. But before that, we'll just go through few statements. You see, we have something called as if statement, wherein the syntax will be like this: if expression and whatever the statements I need to execute. So expression is nothing but the condition. These conditions will commonly we use the comparison operators to compare, say whether it is equals or less than or equal to, greater than or greater than equal to, something like that. That is to check whether it is true or false. If the condition is true, then this statement will be executed. This is if I have only the true statement to be executed. Suppose if you want to have a false statement, then we'll go here and we have else statement. If the true expression, that is the condition, then if it is true, then the statements will get executed, which is in the true block. Otherwise, it will go to this else, wherein it will execute the false statement. Suppose if you have multiple if statements, that is multiple conditions to be checked, then I'll be using something called as Elsif. Here in Python, we call it as Elif. In other languages, we call it as Elsif. It is similar to your Elsif, that is, we call it as Elif. So I can have any number of, say, the if condition, then I can say Elif. Then in the end, if you want a default statement or a false statement to be given, then I'll use this else statement. Keep in mind, I should have this if statement, and then if at all I need a false statement, then I'll be using this else statement. I cannot use if statement continuously like this. If I'm using an if statement after this statement, then that will become a different block itself. Else, this elif cannot start without this if statement. So if I start if, then only I can have elif. Directly I cannot go with elif. And this else statement is not always compulsory. If it is not given, then the default statement or the false statement will not be executed. That's it. We will not get the results. Then only the true statement will be executed. If at all I need a false statement to execute, that means any of these expressions are not true, then if you want any default value to come, then I can use this else statement. Otherwise, I can ignore this. There is something called as nested if. Nested if means if inside if. That also we'll see how to use this nested if. You go here, see, I have an if statement. Inside that, I'll have one more if statement. Inside that, I can have either elif statement, or I can just keep on using only if statements as well. It's like if inside if, that is nested. There are other way also I can use this if statement, that is it's a single statement in a single line also I can use this. Just I can give if statement in single line also like this. Okay, so all this, what we'll do is we'll see practically. This is just to give you a brief introduction of how this conditional functions will work, or say conditional statement will work. So we have some programs which is there in this notepad, which will make you guys easier to understand. So I've kept all the examples right from simple to complex one. So all these things will work today, and we'll understand how this if statement will work. Right, let's go to our editor. Here we'll start with writing some simple if statement. Let's take a variable. Let's say A equals, say, 6,000. This is, I'm just trying to assign a variable. Now here I want to say if this A is greater than 5,000, then I'll say it is high. Just I'm saying it is high, that's all. No low or nothing. Say if, see how the conditions we are giving here, see how the criteria will be given. If A is greater than 5,000, and a colon should be given here. If A is greater than 5,000 colon, and I'll say enter. When I say enter, you can see the indentation coming here. I'll say print, say hi. Just print hi, that's all. Let's run this. It is saying hi. That means this statement is true. Now keep in mind few things. The indentation, whatever is there, this is very important. Let's copy this and I'll paste it here. I will remove this indentation. I given A equals 6,000. If A is greater than 5,000, print high. Let's run this. You see what will happen. See, it will throw error. It is compulsory that in Python you have to indent it. In other languages, there are some languages where this indentation is not at all considered. It will execute, but here it is compulsorily you have to indent this. That means if it is, if block is starting, then the print whatever is there, you have to indent it. Anything you can use like this, any conditions you can check. Let's go here. Say A equals 4,000. Let me copy the same statement here, put it here. If A is greater than 5,000, then print high. Let me execute this. See, I'll not get any result. The reason is there is no false statement in this. If at all I want a false statement to be given, then what I'll do, let me copy this. I'll say else and colon. This colon is very important. See, if I'm not giving colon also, I'll show what error you'll be getting. I'll say print low. A simple if statement what we are taking. See, A equals 4,000. If A is greater than 5,000, then I'm saying print high. If the condition is false, then it will go here. In this case, there is no false statement. So in this case, I have the false statement. Let me run this. See, I'm getting low. So depending on the condition, I'll get the results here. Now suppose if you want to have one more condition here, let's say if the value is greater than 5,000, it should be high. If the value is greater than 2,000, it should be medium, else it should be low. Let's go here. Say A equals, let me give 7,000. Now I'll say if A is greater than 5,000, colon, print high. If this is like else if A is greater than 2,000, colon, print medium. Else print low. See, it is very simple actually. Consider to other program language, here the syntax is very easy. You just have to mention if condition colon. Don't use then. In other program we'll be using then, so here you don't use then, you have to finish the statement by using this colon. Let me run this. It is high. Let me make it as 4,000. Now it should say medium. Let's make it 2,000 or say 1,000. Run this. If you're not giving this colon, say, let me remove this colon. Run this. I'll get syntax error. This is compulsory. I have to give the colon. So you should be very careful with this syntax. It's a simple one. So even if you do a mistake, it'll throw error, you can just correct it and then you can run this, you'll get the result. Right. This is for a simple if statement. Let's go and see more examples. Here, as we told, as we just try to compare this value, so I've just used this high, low, medium. Let's go here and work on these examples with multiple conditions as well. Here it says A equals 33, B equals 200. I'm just trying to use this operator saying that B is greater than A. In our previous example here, I've just used directly a value, but here we're trying to compare two different variables. I'm just trying to check here, say A equals, let's say 300, B equals 500. Now if you want to check, say if A is greater than B, this is comparing between two different variables itself. Then I'll say print A is greater than B. Let's run this. See, this is false. Suppose if I go here and I'll say else print B is greater than A. Let's run this. See, B is greater than B. Let's change this now to 800 and now I'll run this. See, A is greater than B. Now suppose if you want to print a common statement, whatever you see here, this statement print is actually within this if statement. Now suppose if you want to print something like this, say print the above code is for if conditions. Now given one print outside the block, this is the block. I given the code outside the block and there is no indentation here. Let me run this. See, this statement will run whether it is true or false. Let me remove this. Now whether it is true or false, say for example now I'll run this. A is greater than B, the above condition is for if conditions, whatever. Now let me make it smaller. Now this will become false, so this will not get executed. See, whatever the case, this statement will get executed because this is outside the block. So when you're using this print statement, make sure that the required print statement should be within the block or outside the block. So based on that, you can actually give these statements. Right. So we saw this greater than, or you can also use this, say greater than or equals to whatever. Now let's go here and we'll see how we can use multiple comparison statements in this. So we'll say A equals 200, B equals 300. Say if A is greater than B, colon, print A is greater than B, right? Okay. Now suppose if you want to check whether it is equals, then I'll say Elif A. Don't use this equals B like this. Yeah, this will not work because equals means it's an assignment operator. It is not comparison operator. Then how to use this equal? Say you have to use two equal sign like this. If A equals B, print A and B are equal. Else print B is greater. Now say print the above code is for comparing numbers. Let me run this. See, in this case B is greater. Let me make it equal. Now it will go and it will check this one. A equals B. See, A and B are equal. Let's make A greater. Say A is greater than. So if you understand this concept, any conditions or say any conditions you're checking, any program you are doing, it will become very easy to work. Right. Next is, suppose if you want to do this in a single statement, then I can use this simple statement, that is comparison and the result in the same column. This is for only if statement, no else statement. Single if statement. Now let me copy this. Instead of typing again, I'll just show you. See, instead of putting this in a separate line, I can put it like this. This works if the condition is true. Let me run this. See, this is in the same line. Now if you want to use else statement as well in the same line, in the single line, you cannot use else here like this. Else print. Let's run. See, syntax error. It won't give. So what if I want to give a else statement in the same line? Then the syntax will change. Say first print, and then we'll compare that value, that is the condition, else will print B. That is simple. So I'll go here. Say take this. Say, print A is greater than B. That is if A is greater than B. Like this. Else print B is greater than B. See, I'll say print if this condition is true, else print this. Let's run this. A is greater than B. Let me make it 100. Now it should give me this result. Let's run this. See, B is greater than. Okay. Now we understood about the single line if statement and else statement. What if I want to use multiple else statements? It is again similar to what we did. So I'll go here. Let me copy this. Here it says A equals 100, B equals 200. Print A is greater than B. If A is greater than B, else B is greater than A, that is if B is greater than A. Else print both variables are equal. First I'll say print if it is here. This is one section. Else, then again this one. Else the default, like this. Let's run this. B is greater than A. It is executing this. Let me make it as 100. Now we should execute this statement. It will check this statement. This is this condition. If it is not true, it will go to this condition. Else it will go to the false statement. Let's run this. Print spell. Right. See, both variables are equal. So this is how we can use if statement, if else statement, or multiple if statement in single statement. But usually if you have multiple statements, try to use this kind of statements only. This is the easier and the right way of doing. Not telling this is not right, but if you keep doing like this, it will be confusing. Okay, so try to utilize the skills by using these syntax. Fine. Next is AND operator. AND operator will be using when we think that there are more than one conditions to be checked in the same if statement. Let's say we'll take A equals 100. B equals 200, C equals 300. Now we'll give a condition here. If A is greater than B, okay, then L if B is greater than C. L if A is greater than C. Else. Okay, so here we are given some condition. So here the condition is if A is greater than B, then we'll say print A is greater than B. Now if you check this, I'm giving B is greater than C, and here also I'm giving A is greater than C. Now when I say print C is smaller than B, and here I'll say C is smaller than A. You can say this, I'm trying to check C in both the variables. Then here we'll say print C is greater. If you see these two conditions here, I can combine this into one place itself and I can do it. Let's run this first and see what result we'll get. Colon C is greater. Alright, now we'll slightly modify this code. Let's copy the same thing and we'll paste it here. Let's make C as 50. Now here the condition is A is greater than B. If this condition becomes true, then it will not execute this. Let me make it as 300. Let me run this. See, A is greater than B. It will not go and check this. Now what we'll do, we'll take only these two statements and we'll go here and we'll change the code. We'll remove this first statement because I'm not interested in checking this A and B. I'm just interested in this B and A, which is checking this C variable. If B is greater than C, also I need to check A is greater than C. Then what I'll do, I'll go here, I'll say and A is greater than C. Here we'll say C is smaller. Let me remove this. See, I just modify this code saying B is greater than C and A is greater than C. These two conditions should be true. Then only this statement will get executed. If one of the conditions is false, then it will go here. It will give me this statement. Right. Let me run this. In this case, B is greater than C and C is greater than C. That means C is smaller. Let's run this. C is smaller because both the conditions are true. Now let's make it as 150 or we'll say 250. Now in this case, B is greater than C. This is false because B is 200, C is 250. And A is greater than C. This is true, but still I'm using AND operator. Now if I run this, see, C is greater. That means it is executing this statement, not this statement. What if I change this to R? And here I'll say C is greater than one of the variable. So I'm not sure. It can be both or it can be one of the variables. Say greater than both or one of the variable. If both the conditions are false, that means C will be greater. So let's go and check this. I'm using B is greater than C or A is greater than C. In this condition, B is greater than C, this condition is false. A is greater than C, this condition is true. That means this statement will get executed. When it is an OR operator, if any one of the condition is true, it is enough for us. That will be considered as true. Let me run this. See, C is greater than, both are one of the variables. See, like this. So you can use and or also to check multiple conditions in one if statement like this. And again, I'll repeat, and operator, if you're using the condition, all the conditions what you're checking here should be true. Or operator, any one of them it's true, then it will execute the true statement. Right. Next, nested if. Nested if means you're checking if condition inside a if condition. Let's take one simple example of this one, what we did in the beginning. Where is that? Okay, we'll take this. Just copy this. I use this else statement here, that is else if. Instead of this, what we'll do, that should be here, I'll just compare this. If A is greater than 5000, print high. Now I'll not use elif statement. I'll use if A is greater than 2000, print medium. If A is greater than 1000, then we'll say print average. Else print. See the two program here. Here I've used elif for the next condition here. If this is not true, it will go to this elif and it will continue. This is one block. But in this case, what I have done is I'm checking this if condition. If this condition is true, it will print this and it will come out of the say if condition. See, if this is true, it will execute this and it will come out. Inside this, there is one more. That is, if this is not true, then again it will go here. It will check if it is greater than 2000. Then it's saying medium. If this is also not true, then again it will go here. Say if 1000. Else it will say low. If none of the conditions are true, then it will say else and it will come out. Let's execute this and see. Let me run this. Let's check the colons. See, here there is no else statement for this. Let's go and run this. See, saying A is greater than 5000. This is false. It is not going here also. It's not going here also. So what it is doing, it is just coming out. Let's say here, we'll remove this and we'll say else. Run this. See, but this nested if means what it is doing, it is taking else inside, I mean if inside if statement like this. So it goes on like this. Let me remove this. Now let me run this. Okay. So this is actually for, you can give some else statement. Say suppose if you have one else statement to be given for this one, then I can go here, I can say else like this. Value not. Now this will be a true, this will be one condition, and if it is not true, it will come to this. For this, if you want to give else statement, then you can go here and say you can give an else statement here like this. Print, and here we'll say value is high, or something like this, higher than 2000 like this. So if you go and check this, see, this is one block, it's complete. Inside this, I have one more block. This is nested if. Nested if means if inside a if statement. Next, pass. Pass is actually if you think that you don't want to execute anything, just you have to keep that statement. If you put a pass here, let me take this, and if you put it here, just say pass. This one, what we actually do is we just have to check some condition, or sometimes what will happen here, I'll say print hi, I'll say else pass. So I need to have this else statement. I don't know what to do here as of now, so I'll just keep this code and I'll say pass. Let's run this. See, nothing will happen actually. When I execute this, nothing is happening. Later on, I can come here and I can give another statement. So I can just remove this. So pass means it's just passing. So this is not only here, it can be used in loops as well. When you think that, okay, you have to, keep that code, but you have to pass when certain values are there. So when you come to loops, I'll tell you about this pass more, but just keep in mind this pass means you're just trying to pass the command. So here it is something similar to your comment, but comment is ignored by the interpreter, but this pass will be executed, but this is something like a null value. It's a null. Okay. So you can use this pass anywhere, wherever you think that you just have to ignore the statements. Fine. Now let's work on some examples. We'll go with some simple examples and then we'll see what all we can do with this. Here, the program says take an amount. If the amount is less than 1000, then the discount is 5%. Else the discount is 10%. A very simple statement. Let's go and take, see, we'll work out on this. Amount equals, I can type say 5000 and we'll say if amount is, we'll take it like this one, greater than say 2500, then we'll say discount equals amount multiplied by 0.10, that means 10%. Say else discount will be 0.05. Okay, now if you want to say print discount, so this will print the discount value. Yeah. So here we can either put it here only, or I can take it outside as well, because here what's happening here, we have to print, we are using this twice. So instead I can just assign the value for the discount and we can print it outside as well. Let's run this and check the spelling, it should be same. See, it is 500. If you want, you can put this here like this. This is also fine. This is also fine. But why unnecessarily taking many times the same code? Say, to give me the same result. So instead, what we can do is we can keep it outside like this and remove this one like this. Right. If you want to have some more, say, values like this net payable, that is amount minus discount, you can go here. We can put it here, say, print payable equals, say, amount minus discount. They can put here discount like this. Now if I run this, see, discount is 500, payable is 4500. Let's give something less than 2,500. I'll make it as 2,000. Then now it should be 5% discount. Run this. See? All right. Let's go and see one more example. This is to check the number is positive or not. I'll take a number here and then I'll see whether it is positive or not. Let's go here. I'll say num1 equals say 10. Now I want to check whether it is positive or negative. Say if num1 is greater than 0, then say print positive number. If I run this, if it is positive, I'll get the result. Otherwise, it will just ignore. So what we'll do, we'll go and we'll give statement print negative number. Let's run this and see the positive number. Here what we're doing, we're trying to take the hard-coded value here also on most of the examples. Let's try to take some input value, that is the user can input and then I can get the result. Let's change this here. Instead of this amount, I'll say input enter amount. Since I'm using this to get the numbers, convert this into integer, otherwise it will take as a text. I'm just using this input. Let me just show you. Let's run this. When I say input and enter amount, previously I'd given this as 5,000 or whatever number. It was hard coded. Now if I run this, it will ask for amount. Let me just say 7,000. See, it will not give me the result because this will be taken as string, means a text. So for that, what we did, we took this, we made it as int. This will just convert the input into integer. Let's run this now. Now let me give 7,000. See, I'll get the result. If you're taking a text as a direct input, then don't have to bother about putting this into integer. Now let's go here. Same thing. Let's do this. Say int input enter a number. Close bracket. Now let me run this. See. Close. Enter a number. Let's say 25. See, like this. You can enter a number here. Right. So this one we have done. This again same thing. So you can use this equals or whatever. Let's go and check. Okay, this one. Here I'm trying to check whether the price of a product is expensive or not. Let's go here and we'll take one example. Say program check the cost of the laptop. Now we'll say cost equals, here again I can use this input enter cost. As I told, put this as integer like this. Now we'll take the cost. Now we'll say if cost is greater than 25,000, then say print laptop is very expensive. Else print cost is okay. Let me run this. It asks for the cost. Let's say 30,000. Enter. See, in this, if you want, you can do some calculations and whatever we did the calculations here, you see this, somewhere we did the calculation here. See, you can put the calculations also here, right? So here I have given some programs here. Let's go and check this one. Here I'm trying to check the grades. This is like nested if, means if inside if. We'll take the score, and depending on the score I'm trying to grade. Okay, let's say marks equals teacher input, enter marks. Now once I get the marks, I'll say if marks is greater than 90. Okay, let's put all the conditions here first, then else if marks is greater than 80, else, let this else be here. Just observe, see, this is if and this else is for this if. Now I'm putting one more if inside this if, that is here, that is after this else, say if and else here. We'll put one more if marks is greater than 70, else if marks is greater than 60, else. We'll go here and put these statements now. This is the conditions what we put. Print, say grade A. Let's copy this, paste it, enter, paste it. Then for else, we give one more print statement. Say if it is greater than 90, it is A. If it is greater than 80, we'll make it as B. Then we'll say C. If it is greater than 70, greater than 60, we'll say D. Then grade fail. Okay. Now let me run this. Enter the marks. Let's say 98, grade A. Let's run again. Let's enter 23, grade fail. Let's go here, run again, say 56. Let's enter 78. See, grade C, like this. So here I'm using if inside yes. Same thing can also be written by using Elif statement. So I'm not telling this is wrong. So the possibilities of however you want, you can see this is one way, and you can use that in different way as well. Let's go here. I'll say, let's take the same thing. Say marks equals input whatever I've given. Now we'll go here and say elif. Instead of else and again one more value inside that, means one more if condition there. Say marks is greater than 80. The same whatever we have here, same thing. I'm just trying to modify it. Okay. Say if it is greater than 90, it is grade A. Then we have 80. Then we have 70. Then we have 60. Do we have anything else? No. Then after that, else statement. Copy this and I'll paste it here. I'll say grade B. Then paste it here. This is grade C. And this one will say grade D. Else print grade fail. See? I can use either like this or I can use like this. This is the easiest way. Let's run this. Same thing will give 78 and say enter. See, I'll get the same result. Run this. Say 95. Great. So like this also you can use the program. Right. See, here we have this. Okay. Let's do one multiple if statements here. Let's say we have done a lot of examples like this in our BBA class, that is to find the age. Same thing we'll do here also. I'll give an age and we'll see how we can classify that age into different categories. We'll put that, say, if age is greater than 70, then it should be old. So likewise, copy this. We'll put the condition here so that it will be easy for me to write the program. If age is greater than 40, say adult. Then the age is greater than 19, then we'll say young. If age is greater than 13, then let's take it as teenage. Else it should be kid, that is less than or equal to 12. Like this. So this is my condition. So what we'll do, we'll take the age as an input. Say age equals input, enter age, and we'll convert this into integer. Fine. Now we'll check the condition. So we have so many conditions here. We'll go here, we'll say if age is greater than 70. So first we'll put all the conditions so that it will be easy for me to write the statements. Some people, what they do is they'll write all the statements and the conditions together. So it's better idea to put all the conditions so that it will be easy for me to put the statements inside those condition block. So okay, one condition is greater than 70. Then we should use Elif age is greater than 40. I will copy this and let's paste it here. The next one is 19, and then paste it here. We'll make it as 13 and we'll say else. Right. So for this, let's put the statements. Statement is if age is greater than 70, I'll say old. Let's copy this, paste it. If is greater than 40, then I'll say adult. Next, we'll say young. Then teenage. Else kid. Fine. Let's execute this and see. Run this. It's asking for age. Let's say 98. Say old. Run this. Let's take 23. See, saying young. Then we'll say 67. Let's say 15. So I'm getting the result. But here there is a problem. Let's run this. What if someone will give 200? See, it says old. I want the value to be entered from 0 to 100 only. If at all, if someone is entering the value below 0 or above 100, it should say invalid age. Okay. So for that, what we'll do, let me just copy this and I'll put it here, just showing you the changes. We'll put one condition here, that is validation. Age is less than 0. Now I should use or operator. Or age is greater than 100. Okay. Then print invalid age. Here this will become Elif. See, one small code we added here before this execution of this statement, that is age is less than 0 or greater than 100, and say invalid age. Now let's execute this. Let me give 200, saying invalid age. So like this also you can do the validations. This is for numbers. Let's take an example with something like this, that is to take a region or say text. Let me go here. We'll say region equals input enter region. So I'm trying to get a region code here. Let's say get region code. So what is the region code? I'll say if it is north, it should be N. If it is east, then it should be E. If it is west, W. Then if it is south, I should get S, like this. So this is the code what I need to get when I enter the value here. If any of these values, say if any of the regions are not matching with this, then it should give me invalid region. Right. So we're taking the input as the region, this one. Now we'll try to check the condition. If region equals north, if region equals east. Let me copy this. Okay, so north, east, west, and say south. Now I'll put one else statement. We'll print region code, and I'll say N. So region code is N. Let's copy this, paste it. I'm just pasting the code here, and I'll change this to E. This one will be W. This will be S, and this will be invalid. Right? So now here you mention it as equals here. When I say region equals input, that means this is assigning. But when you see this equals, this will not work because this equals is for assignment operator. So what we'll do, we'll put one more equal like this. This is for comparison. This is comparison operator. So be very careful with this equals and double equals in Python especially. Okay, let me run this. It's asking for region. Say north. What happened? Print. It's a spelling mistake. Okay, let's execute this. Region north. See, region code is N. Let's run again. Say south. I'm getting results. What if I give something like this? Northeast. It is giving me invalid. So it is giving me the invalid if none of these regions are matching. Now what if I enter something like this? Say all small letters, but here I'm checking one capital letter. The first character is capital letter. I'll say enter. See, saying invalid because it is not matching. So in these cases, what we have to do is we have to just change the the input. So when I take the input, so it should be like converted into either uppercase or capitalized or something like that, so that whatever conditions I'm giving here, that should match with this values which I'm checking. The input and the matching value should match, then only I can actually get the right result. Let's copy this and change the code little. So here I'm using this, say input enter region. So I'll go here, region equals region dot upper open bracket close bracket. I'm just using those functions. Remember that in the previous session we have used some text functions. There are so many text functions like this: upper, capitalize, title. Okay, so you can utilize any of these functions and you can rectify this. How to do? I'll go here, I'll make it as north. This one I'll say east, west, south. So if you see this north, east, west, south, once I enter any value, that will be converted to uppercase. So the region will become uppercase now, no matter whatever condition you are entering. Now I'll say north, east, west, south. What it will do, once it is converted to capital letters, here while checking, it will check with the uppercase whatever we have given you the comparison. Let's say run. Now I'll say north, or we'll give small letters north, and I'll say run. Let's run this. Sorry. Just restart. Okay. Now let's enter north. Right. See, even if it is a small letter also, it will just give me the result. So what will happen? It will just try to convert that into uppercase, and then the comparison whatever is there here, that will get compared with the capital letters. Okay, so likewise I can use this if conditions in Python.